Greetings everyone, Pete Pardo here. Welcome to another edition of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. Today we're going to take a look at a brand new release on the progressive rock front. It's from a new band, okay, on the Giant Electric P label. That's a label we haven't heard a lot from in quite a few years. Pretty notable prog rock label back in the 90s and early 2000s. But the name of the band is Rain. The album is Singularity. Okay, so for those of you who have not heard of this band before, and I'm sure many of you haven't because they are pretty new, it's a new four-piece band, all from the UK. All right, you've got a couple notable guys in the band here. So we've got on bass and vocals, Mr. John Jowitt. Okay, John, of course, has played with Arena and IQ and Jadis and Frost, okay, as well as ARK, so he's been around. All right, you've got Andy Edwards on drums. Of course, Andy, formerly also of IQ, also of Frost, also played with Robert Plant for a little bit as well. You've got on vocals, keyboards, and guitars, you've got Rob Groucutt, okay, and also on guitars and vocals, a guy named Mirron, M-I-R-R-O-N. And like I said, this is their brand new album here called Singularity. So let's take a look at the Digipack here, right? So we're only looking at 5 songs, all pretty lengthy, all right? All songs written and arranged by the band, produced by the band, recorded at various locations and assembled at Grumpy's Shed Studios during lockdown, March through September 2020. Okay, mixed and mastered by Mark Westwood at Black Tree Studios. The cover painting is done by Matthew Bourne. Okay, CD design artwork by Phil Jolly. All right, so let's take a look at this here. Okay, there are the guys in the band, and I've got a little bit of glare there. There we go. Pretty nice looking package here, and let's take a look at the booklet, shall we? So there's the cover art once again. You've got some artwork in here, lyrics. Nice shot of the band. There we go. Most of you will recognize both Andy and John, right? They've been staples on the prog rock scene for quite a while. And there they are once again. So what does this album sound like, you might ask? Well, you know, I've listened to this plenty of times, and I've been talking to Andy Edwards quite a bit. And Andy and John are both going to come on the show in the very near future. I've just been waiting to kind of digest this and do my little review of this first before I have them on the show. But 5 tracks, like I said, all pretty lengthy. About 7 minutes is the longest, and then the shortest and the longest is just under 13. So all in between. In my discussions with Andy, he tells me that a lot of the inspiration for this album came from, listening to and absorbing and just a general influence from bands like Yes and King Crimson. And, with all the pedigree that these guys have in previous bands, I don't get a lot of the like 90s, early 2000s neo-prog sound, or even some of the 80s, right? So, you would think with guys being in Arena and IQ and so on, Frost and so on and so forth, that it would sound kind of like that. I don't really get that. I don't get a lot of Yes or King Crimson on this either. Regardless, even the guys themselves saying they were influenced by those 2 bands specifically while they were putting this together, and I get all that. But I get a very fresh, modern prog rock sound here that at a lot of points during this album reminds me a lot of various aspects of Porcupine Tree as well as Steven Wilson's solo. So it's not a very heavy album. It does rock, but it's very upbeat, very melodic. So I would think maybe like the late 90s, early 2000s Porcupine Tree, and certainly some of the Steven Wilson solo albums of late. Okay, I do get that a bit. I also hear a little bit of the really mellower Opeth material, the non-death metal Opeth, so the more recent stuff. Hear a little bit of that. And, some of the more melodic and poppy elements of the band Frost, you get a little bit of that here as well. But, the songs are really catchy. They're very melodic. There's lots of tasty playing here. Opens up with Devils Will Rain. Reign, not rain like the rain coming from the clouds, from the sky, which is 7 minutes long. That's a very upbeat song. Lots of great hooks, a lot of nice guitar and keyboard textures and things. The rhythms are really cool. Very, very memorable song that kind of pulls you right in. Okay, then you got Dandelion, also another really engaging song, really memorable. Great vocals throughout this entire album. I mean, the vocals are very, very pleasing, which is really good. You got Walk Away, which is the first of the two epics on the album, so that's just under 13 minutes long, 12:50. That's got all sorts of really good interplay and instrumental passages and things. This is a band that know how to weave in, those kind of proggy bits, we like to call them, right? So they weave in these like complex passages and things, but they're not like barreling you over the head with, endless soloing and, trying to be complex for complex sake. I think all of this stuff kind of really helps the songs, and that's really important. You got The Magician, which is another 11-plus minute track, which really, really nice stuff there. And then at the back end of the album, you have the title track, which is just over 9 minutes, and that's like really kind of moody. And I think, Andy talking to me about King Crimson, and I do hear a little King Crimson in that particular song, the kind of moodiness of it. So think like, maybe the early mid-70s King Crimson, right? Nice keyboard textures, nice layering of vocals and the guitars, really cool bass work on there as well. I mean, I just think, from a rhythmic standpoint, both Andy and John work so well together, but lots of guitars on here. It's not a big riffy album, but there are some cool riffs from time to time, but more of like guitar textures, some tasty soloing. Vocally, this album is fantastic. Really, really good. And the more you listen to it, the more you like it. And I kind of, it's funny because I'm usually, when I'm listening to an album by any particular band, I generally gravitate towards the musical elements first, then the vocals, and I may or may not dip into the lyrical content. I'm not much of a lyric guy. I don't really sit and analyze lyrics to songs and albums and things like that, but I will say I am most impressed by the layers of vocals on this album and the way they've kind of put together these songs, and the vocals just kind of really grab you in. The vocals are emotional, right? At some points they're a little more aggressive, but they're always engaging no matter, who's doing the section of vocals or whether they're all kind of taking part in the backing vocals. I mean, lead and backing vocals are just really spot on throughout this whole album. And I really dig it. It's quite good, very pleasing. And I like the album cover art, and I like the logo. It's got kind of like an IQ flavor, sort of, which I kind of dig. But if you're looking for maybe possibly the next best thing in British progressive rock, maybe you like Porcupine Tree, maybe you like the Pineapple Thief, maybe you love Steven Wilson's solo, right? There's a little bit of Pink Floyd-isms going on, especially, the title track. I hear lots of kind of like Floyd going on there, especially in the dreamy nature of it, the way the keyboards are layered in the vocals and stuff like that. So, but you know what? The band is, they have some nice little runs here and there, and if you love the classic prog sound, you get lots of that. But it's just a really, really pleasing on the ear album, an easy listen. There's some prog albums that are just so dense and so complicated that it takes you many, many spins to kind of let it all permeate your being, right? This is not the case. This is like the first time you listen to this, you're like, all right, I really enjoyed that. I want to hear it again. It's very pleasing on the ears. Sure, there's the challenging stuff on here, but for the most part, it's very engaging right from the get-go, and that's something to be commended. So, guys, good job here. Check it out, Rain Singularity. All right, brand new group, British prog at its best. Lots of good pop melodies here as well. Excellent listen, and I think this will be something that a lot of people will enjoy here in 2021. And I look forward to speaking to guys in the band here on the show over the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. Visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. So lots more to come. So stay tuned here on the channel. We got ranking shows on the Tubes and Ashbury, and all sorts of things happening over the next few days. So stay tuned for all that. And, of course, next Monday, Hudson Valley Squares, Monday Night Must See TV. Got a cool show planned for then, too. So we'll see you all then, right? And if you're watching this today and you feel like staying up and watching tonight, I will be on the Guitar Hack YouTube channel along with my frequent co-host here, Martin Popoff. We will be talking to Guitar Hack and ranking the albums of Led Zeppelin. So that's coming up later tonight. So take care, everybody. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.